One of the most important aspects of communication within the business is nonverbal communication. It's the reason why it's so important is because we must learn how to control it. When you can control nonverbal communication, you're able to excel better in the business world. Now, I asked Savannah to be a volunteer to help me out with this illustration. Come on. Now, imagine she's my colleague or an employee, boss, something like that. And so I don't like her. And I don't want to portray that image, but we're having a conversation, so go ahead.
Hi, Smiley. How are you doing today?
Fine.
Things going okay?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm great.
How was lunch today?
It was good.
What did you have?
I had hamburger. All right, that's good. Yeah, see. You see, what I was projecting was that I really did not like her, and in the business world, you are going to encounter a lot of people that you don't like. So that's why it's so important to control the nonverbal communication. The book that I looked at, Interpersonal Communication by Wood, stated that nonverbal communication is everything except for words. So anything that has to do with communication except for words is nonverbal communication. And our book, Hamilton suggests that, or shows that within the business world, there are specific areas that nonverbal communication are dealing with in the business world. One of them, eye contact. It's important to keep eye contact at all times, and sometimes non-eye contact is looked at negatively in the business world. You have hair language, the tone of voice. You have body movements and gestures that communicate certain things. Clothing, the way you dress, personal appearance. Another way is distance and personal space, like an example. As Savannah was walking closer, I was backing up because I wanted to keep that distance. Another way is physical environment. And this is how you decorate your office. I have an office. I'm a volunteer coordinator for a juvenile delinquency prevention program. And in my office, I have paintings of kids did paintings, and I have them up in my wall. And so I wanted to show that, hey, I'm open and I love kids. And actually, one of the kids from the program came over to my office, or to the big main office, and they walked past my office door. And I'm like, ooh. I'm like, come on in, And so it kind of shows that, I'm open, and that's what I wanted to communicate. That's the way that physical environment can communicate nonverbally. And then there's time. How do you direct your time? Are you on time? Are you late for meetings? Do you multitask? Do you do things more than once, or do you do things one at a time? All those factors communicate how to interact in the business world. So there are disadvantages when you cannot control your nonverbal communication. Being that nonverbal communication is ambiguous, it can have two different meanings. Like if I fold my arms up, one person could indicate that I'm mad. Or one person could be like, oh, that's cool. He's like, hip and cool. That's different ways. The same nonverbal communication can mean two different things. And so if you don't know how to control that, you can portray the wrong thing. Does that make sense? Another way that nonverbal communication is a disadvantage if you don't know how to control it is sometimes it can contradict your verbal messages. For example, let's say if I say, I am not angry. Now, my nonverbal communication indicates that I was frustrated, but my verbal communication shows that, or trying to say that I'm not. But see, that's contradicting. And that, in the research that I looked at, it says that most people will view nonverbal communication more than verbal communication when they're combined. So it really doesn't matter what you're saying. When you have that, you're communicating your anger, whether you're saying you're not or you are. And so that's the way that it can be a disadvantage. But the same disadvantages can be advantages if you know how to control them. Now, Hamilton suggests that advantages of nonverbal communication is you're able to appear more stable, you can appear superior, and more powerful if you know how to control them. You can actually get your point across by saying, hey, look, this is what I'm trying to communicate, and when you're not verbally communicating, it can add to the flavor of your communication. So the author of the Interpersonal Communication book mentions that there's a few more advantages, like regulating, and being able to control a conversation. Let's say that you're like to class and somebody bumps into you. In order to be, not to be rude, you know, they're talking like, yeah, that's good. But you kind of turn your body a little bit away from to indicate that you're ready to go. That's not rude, but that's a way of controlling your nonverbal communication to show them that, hey, it's cool. We got to go, though. I'm late. So another way is repeating. Nonverbal communication can repeat your verbal communication. And sometimes it can substitute. Sometimes you don't have to say certain things. You can just use emblems. Another way is to accent and to kind of illustrate, use as illustrators to kind of help exemplify your nonverbal communication or your verbal communication. So, how can you learn these things? What are things that you can do to kind of develop nonverbal communication and controlling them? Well, one thing that the book talks about is that you have to learn how to monitor your nonverbal communication. You have to just practice it. That's all you have to do. Sometimes you can look in the mirror, you can practice your communication if you're doing a speech. You can look at yourself in the mirror. What kind of communication are you going through? Or you can record yourself. Look at yourself on video and say, hey, this is how I respond. But be aware of it. And when you're aware of it, you're able to control it better. And when you control it better, then you're able to observe other people's nonverbal communication. And then that will help in the business world. You're able to read people because you can read yourself. And you're able to project a positive image and will succeed in the business world. So nonverbal communication is very important. And it's important to learn how to control them. And so there's a lot of times that we can once we're aware of that, then we're able to project a more positive image and we're able to succeed in the business world in a better way.